Welcome to the Business Growth Crowd podcast at New London Media.
Thank
here
you
at
so
London.
much. Lovely to be here.
As I've said to everyone at the start, could you please introduce yourself and what you do, please?
So I'm Dr Sahal Hussain, multi-award winning private GP based in Hertfordshire.
Woo! Well done. That deserves a round of applause straight away.
But as one of the other guests said, I came from an Indian family and was never really allowed to develop entrepreneurship and business. I was told go into a stable job, be respectable. I mean, I'm still a doctor, I'm still respectable in those terms, but I was told always work in a stable, regular environment, nothing to be out there or on your own. I've started this business 3-4 years ago, and it's been a struggle and strife, but it's something that I believe is highly worth it, and I believe it's a service that is much needed in this current situation that we're in.
We couldn't survive without you guys, so my hat goes off to you, and it's a very difficult job to have, I suspect, right now. We're in a bit of a situation. So tell us how you as a person, how you're different to the normal GP, because I sense that there's a difference here.
So I am the family member that you always needed, that you never knew you did until I arrived on the scene. So in this context of working in the private sector, I've been able to work with families. I work with high net worth individuals, busy professionals, also work with production studios and other environments like this. But in this situation, what I've been able to do is spend time with the individual, give them attention. It's not a conveyor belt. It's not one person after another, 10 minutes, one problem, one issue. I spend time with them, I give them attention, and actually on 2 different occasions, I've been told, Doctor, you're like one of our family members. We'd like to adopt you into our family. And in one particular instance, I remember this vividly, I went to visit a lady at her home. I was admitting her to hospital with severe abdominal pain, and her husband said to me, Doctor, why don't you sit down and have dinner with us? I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, please sit down, come and join the family. And that sort of experience is something that I believe is entirely unique. And it's just been eye-opening for me to be able to spend that time, give that attention, that level of care and empathy. We've heard about empathy from many of the speakers before. Now, it's not that NHS doctors don't give empathy, they do. But we're so constrained by the system in which we operate that we just can't afford people that time and that attention. And, you know, it's disheartening for the patient, but also extremely disheartening for the doctor, because we feel frustrated. We never see the same patient twice. We can't give them the time, and we just can't manage their conditions adequately.
And there's a bit of a mental health pandemic, let's call it, going on. And I mean, antidepressants prescriptions must be up sky high. I don't know what the statistics are, but I know it's a lot. What's your advice to people who are watching or listening to this from a doctor's perspective, and they're suffering with depression or PTSD, etc.?
So I see a lot of people with this, and I'm not an advocate, I'm not a fan of antidepressants. We heard about them being called Smarties, and again, I sort of believe that they are given to solve a problem like a sticking plaster. Now, there are people who have severe depression who do need antidepressants. I'm not saying that we shouldn't use antidepressants, but if we can get to the root problem of what is causing that depression, what is causing that low mood, what is causing that stress, that anxiety, that requires time, that requires attention, that requires personal, really listening to the person in front of you and seeing what is the problem that is causing that depression, and then looking at how we can mitigate that through lifestyle interventions, through talking therapies, through other holistic methods of treating these situations. So I'm a great believer in alternative medicines.
Very good.
So things like acupuncture, things like there's something called RTT therapy, rapid transformational therapy. So all of these type of things, which unfortunately in the NHS, they're even A, not heard of, and B, just not available. So it's either you have experience of this or you have money to explore these type of options. But there are certain things that we can try, but the system constrains us in terms of being able to offer those to the mass population.
Doctor, you're a breath of fresh air. Let me just say that. Let's just give him a round of applause. And last but not least, someone's obviously listening and they're loving what you're saying, and I'm sure there's going to be loads of people. What's the best way to contact you?
Well, actually, if I can just say before that, I think what we need to do, this has been brought home to me very recently by 2 instances that happened to my parents. My father fell a couple of weeks ago, fractured his pelvis.
Oh, no. Sorry
And
to
my
hear that.
mum, yeah, thank you. And my mum has heart failure and is
Wow.
deteriorating. So what I say is, take hold of your health when you're young, in your 20s and your 30s. If you're a founder, if you're running a startup, if you're young, can actually prevent ill health taking over you, because that will do two things. Number one, you'll live a more fulfilling life. And number two, you'll cause less financial burden on the system. So now my dad is staying with us. He's bed bound.
Yeah.
They said we can't operate because it's a complicated fracture.
Right.
We're having to look after my mum as well, which we happily do. But if you try and deal with those problems through simple measures, through diet, through lifestyle, through mindfulness, through all of these practices that we can quite easily take on when we think there's nothing wrong with us.
Yeah.
So start taking that action early, not neglecting it, and hopefully, and probably quite likely, you will not have these problems further down the line.
And it echoes. Several people have said the same tonight, so totally for that. Thank you. That's doctor's orders, everyone. Okay. So, I love what you've said. Thank you so much for coming today. Best way to get in contact with you, Doctor?
So it's my name. If you type Dr Sahal Hussain, GP, on Google, it will come up with my website, it will come up with LinkedIn, it will come up with Instagram. So it's Dr Sahal Hussain.
Fantastic. Well, Dr Sahil, thank you so much for being here today. Wonderful
Thank you
guest.
so much.
Thank you. Round of applause.